And so we take that breath. We take that holy breath. Everything is holy now. There is no place where the holiness is not. There is no place where God is not. That's what we say here. And so we walk with a reverent air, remembering this every step of the way. And so we take that breath, we take that holy breath again. And we connect with the power and the presence of Spirit and know that it is alive within us now. Happy New Year, Happy New You. Something new and wonderful and magnificent is seeking to express, and it's seeking to express as each and every one of us. And so I'm going to invite you to hold this white stone during a little bit of a conversation. And as you do, just to infuse it with your energy, and have the pencil handy, and in a bit, you may be called to write upon this white stone. But for now, just hold on to it. And so we're going to have a little bit of a conversation, and that little bit of the conversation is this idea that we're always building a conversation here. We're always building a conversation. So we're coming out of a holiday season. In the holiday season, we lit Advent candles, which was like a personal pilgrimage of the heart that was leading us from fearfulness to hopefulness, to faithfulness, to peacefulness, to love, to joy. Every day we walk that journey, do we not? And so we continue the journey. It doesn't end with the new year. We're building upon what has been. And what we said was that the Christ was being birthed, that we were welcoming and allowing the Christ to be birthed within each of us. And that birth has occurred. It is within us now. It is as God created us, perfect, whole, complete, holy, nothing lacking. And that the idea held in the mind of God that is you is ready now to come forth. We've released what has been. When we say Happy New Year, implicit in that is a release of something old. And what we do here is in that release of something old, we don't do it with negativity. It's a positivity. It's a remembrance that our life, as we've lived it, as we've experienced it, has been perfect. There's no loss in God, and there's no waste in God. And so there's no shame. And so we embrace all who we've been, all the experiences that we've had. And we embraced it, but then we realized that there were some things that we could let go of. And we on New Year's Eve, we were in this very circle. And we released and let go of qualities, of ideas, of a name that no longer suited us. It did at one point, but we've integrated it now, received the lessons such that we could let all of the aspects of it go that no longer serve us, dissipating into the nothingness from which it came. Misperception is all. That's all. Mistaken identity. And so with that release, now we do cross a threshold, and the calendar suggests that we crossed a threshold. We have a new year. It's 2025. And we are claiming and cultivating what it means to be Christ in this experience, to walk forth with this illumination and the remembrance of who we are as spirit. Sometimes we have a body, sometimes we let it go. But who we are, what we are, is eternal now and forevermore. What we are as Christ, as that divine idea, And when we commit to that, my goodness gracious, look out, world, because you know how to serve. And it's got something to do with love, always. It's got something to do with your divine identity. We're claiming it today, how we serve, who we be, and what we're called. So, you walked into the sanctuary. For most of you, it was familiar to you as being set up a little bit differently. How did you experience this? When there is a shift in consciousness, there is a shift in form. When there is a shift in consciousness, it cannot help but express in form. So when something is made new, by the renewing of your mind, by the choices we make, by what we're committed to, and the agreements that we make and keep, something must shift in form. Don't fight it. How many came in and fought this a little bit? How many felt a little uncomfortable? How many kicked their heels up and said, yay, something new's happening? Right? Right? However you experienced it is perfect. Just perfect. Because it's telling us, it's giving us information. The benevolence of the universe is forever now, giving you feedback. That's all it is. Just note, take note. What's it teaching me? Where can I release my rigidity to something new? Where can I be in flow? Where can I shape shift? Because that's what you're doing. You're shape shifting your way of being. You got the power to do that. Each of us has the power to do that. Our teaching is contingent upon that. How do you think healing happens? A shift in consciousness translates to a shift in form. I see nodding. You all know this. One of the things that I know is I'm surrounded by masters, by teachers, by awakened individuals. It's not one person on a stage. It's all of us. Each and every one of us in our unique and divine ways. Take a breath here. Do you feel this? Do you feel something happening, something shifting? Let it. You don't like it? That's okay. Laugh a little. It helps. It really does. You gotta laugh a little bit at yourself. So happy new you. Happy new year. And so this is a ceremony. This is a white stone. This white stone is going to be your outer representation of an inner shift of consciousness. Is there power in this stone? Not really. And yes, all power. It will be what we make it mean. And to the degree that we dedicate ourselves to whatever comes through, will shape shift us and we will be in form different. Okay? So this white stone, these actually come from Jerusalem. They come from, it's called Jerusalem white stone. It's a particular kind of limestone that comes from Judea. And so symbolically, what the white stone actually represents comes from a scripture. And the scripture comes from Revelation 2:17. And it says this: anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what it is saying to the churches. Who be the churches? Each and every one of you. Who be the temples to the living God? Every one of us. To everyone who is victorious. Victorious in what way? Victorious in choosing your divine identity as God created you, despite all the distractions of this experience. So to those who are victorious, to those who keep their eye focused on spirit, the spirit of truth, as our founders, Charles and Myrtle, would say, I'm dedicated to the spirit of truth. What will happen when we're victorious? I will give you some of the manna, some of the bread, some of the sustenance that has been hidden away in heaven. And I will give to each one a white stone. And on the stone will be engraved a new name that no one understands except the one who receives it. This is for you. This is something to be received in your hearts, for your ears that hear Spirit perfectly, speaking your name. Biblically, when there have been transformations in consciousness, names change. There are so many examples. Abram becomes Abraham. The name is given to him by God. And the shift in the meaning of the name is to be from exalted Father to Father of nations. His wife, Saria, becomes Sarah. Similar connotation. Princess to mother of nations. Notate here, there's a masculine and feminine that become the parentage of nations. And Jerusalem is the representation of that nation, which means the habitation of peace. And so we enter into the habitation of peace that only the realization of your divine identity, the remembrance of who you are, can bring. It's scary not being who you are, isn't it? You gotta put on all kinds of airs, and you gotta pretend, and then you gotta remember who you were pretending to be. And no wonder why everybody is confused by you, right? It's nuts. But when you can remember your divine identity, which is super easy, I'm as God created me. God and I are one. There's only one identity. But we all look different, and we're all going to get a different name today. But we're unity. Unity is about that oneness. But there's diversity and multiplicity in this oneness. We're each holographic representations of the whole. And thank goodness we can let go of that false identity. Because I'm exhausted, aren't you? It's like, let it go. Let it go. This is the safe place to do this. This is the place to practice it. My favorite name change is from Jacob to Israel. Jacob, the one who wrestled with a man or an angel. It's interpreted both ways. Guess what? You get to decide. Guess what? We're making it all up anyway. Might as well make it up good. I say he was wrestling with an angel. Right? He wrestled with the angel until he received his blessing. And he received a new name. And his shift in consciousness was to release his own will for God's will, which is always for your good. Because truly, it is your will to return to your divine identity always and in all ways. So that's some of the symbolism. Let's move into our calling forth of our new name. What transformation in consciousness have you experienced that you're now willing to accept and allow that you may be made new, that you may shape-shift, and that form around you supports your new name? Now, you're going to be tempted to answer to your old name. Don't go there. We'll talk about that after you receive it. Take a breath here with me. I was reminded of a story I had heard about a Namibia tribe in southern Africa, where every child has their own song. Every child has their own song. And the way that this story goes is something like this, and I say something like this in case I don't get it exactly right. But it goes something like this. They don't celebrate the birth of the child based upon a birth date or even a date of conception. It's based upon when the mother heard the call to receive the child in mind and heart. And when that happens, when she knows that there is something she is going to birth, she goes off and sits under a tree that she may learn and hear the song of the child she will give birth to. And she learns the song, and she goes to her beloved and teaches him the song. Teaches the song of the child that they will conceive. Then she teaches the song of this child to the midwives and to the community, so that before that child ever comes, there's an expectancy of that child's song. And so when the child is delivered unto the world, here's some similarities here. When that child is delivered, there's an expectancy of what and who that child is. And that child is already known, loved, beloved, expected, and welcomed by a community. As that child grows in this community, it learns their song. And when the child stumbles or falls or makes a mistake, instead of being punished, the song is sung to remind them who they are. There's a song that represents you and your name, and this community is here. We expect it. We welcome it. we see it, we're ready to learn it. And we're also ready to remind you who you are when you forget or when you falter or seem to make a mistake. That's what we do for one another. And so we now allow the hidden manna, the hidden substance, and the voice of God to come upon us now. And so, again, holding your stone, perhaps placing it against the heart, we'll begin our meditation. I invite you to begin to follow your breath and breathing. Allow my voice to become the voice of Spirit, holy and divine. The higher self, perhaps the voice of God for you. Imagine that this voice envelops you with its love, knows you, holds you, beholds you as beloved. The voice you hear considers you the object of its affection, of its desire to express as you. And as I shift into the first person here, let this voice be even more closely your own. Spirit, holy and divine, I desire only to be as you created me to be. I listen now. I know that I know that I know that my name, my quality, that which I dedicate my life to this year, perhaps this year or now and forevermore, is upon the wind, the breath that is spoken to me now. I relax the shoulders and open the heart space. I tilt the head back ever so slightly and touch the third eye. I have eyes that see. I place my hands near the ear and activate my hearing. I have ears that hear. I'm returning to breathing into the heart. My heart is open to receive. I invite the voice for God to whisper in the ear, impress and imprints upon my mind and heart my new name, the quality of being I dedicate myself to now, and I listen in the stillness as it comes forth. And as it does, I write this, I impress it, I imprint it upon this white stone. What do I now dedicate my life to? What quality of being do I now embrace? What gift am I to give? What do I now answer to? What nature do I allow myself to be and return to? I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit, that I have asked and I receive. And since the vibratory field has been activated, know that if a mystery remains, that the mystery will be revealed at the right and perfect time. And the name drops in, and you know that you know that you know that it is yours. And just a little bit of music as we close the meditation piece. And so we take a breath here. We audibly breathe in. And we let go. We do that 2 more times. Breathing in. Letting go. 1 more. Breathe in. Let go. Now keep breathing. Keep breathing and know that something's been activated here. Something's been activated. It's powerful. And that as it's activated, just be very mindful this week of what comes forth, what comes forward for you, what drops into your awareness. Really take note, because you've asked questions and it is revealed to you, to us. We are on a journey of discovery. You discover yourself, your nature, your name, your identity. And as you do so, as we do so, we discover one another. And who doesn't want to be discovered, right? Who doesn't want to be seen for who they are, accepted for who they are, what they are, and set free? That's really what we're doing. And so what we do with the stone is that we take it with us, we keep it in our heart space, we place it upon our altar, maybe we have it in our pocket. It's an outer touchstone, an outer reminder of an inner truth about who we are. And so allow it to become part of your practice of devotion, of dedication, of inquiry, of the mystery of whatever it is you received that God gave you. The mystery is revealed to you as you allow it to be. And then expect form to shift, and for it to be an outer expression that is palpable to the world. And so that concludes our white stone ceremony for this year. And one of the things I love about what we do is the story will continue. And this month we will be having conversations about building blocks and cornerstones as we review our foundational principles over this month. And then we move into the way of the heart for the remainder of the year, utilizing these principles, but they're shifting from an intellectual process to a heart love process. We're elevating, evolving our teaching and our principle together. For a world made new, we must be new ourselves. Behold, we make all things new together. And that's what we're up to this year and in this community. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be hanging out with you while we do it, And so I say thank you for this opportunity. I seal the deal with a prayer, an open-eyed prayer. We can do that, you know. We can look at one another in our prayer, and we can see the face of God and remember that there's a power and a presence that occupies every aspect of our being, guides us, whispers in our ear, illuminates the way, and that we walk forth joyously, happily, this day, this year, spreading the love of God. Because if we know anything, and so I invite you to be celebratory in this next song, if we know anything, what the world needs now is what? Love, sweet love. And so we invite Lizbeth and the band to teach us